Guys, we're starting in just a couple minutes. We have a performance coach joining us today, Giovanni. Still waiting for him to enter the building. All right, guys. We're still waiting for Giovanni to enter here.
I think he is in the background.
Yeah, he should be here in a moment. We might as well just start off with some current market conditions and just chat about that. Hey,
Yeah.
I brought I brought my my chart up on the screen here. By the way, guys, every single Tuesday there is a 50K Maven challenge up for grabs. So best questions, shoot them our way. Hopefully, a good ones for Giovanni. Something specific to him, performance coach wise, might be helpful to some of the viewers. Guys, I think this is going for new highs by the end of the month. James and I were chatting a little bit before the stream, and he's saying he's not really liking the price action these past few days. And ever since Black Friday, has it been bad for you or what?
Yeah, I've been struggling, bro. My end in terms of trying to find good entries. So I've just been kind of sitting on my hands. Like today, I haven't even found a trade. I mean, Nasdaq's moving higher, but in the last 30 minutes, we've literally moved like 40 points. So that's just not my market conditions. And what I have seen, I know, when was it 2 weeks ago, last week, we had Thomas on when he was speaking about those statistics and everything like that. The volume does die off in December. Obviously, there's quite a few market holidays, bank holidays, Christmas, stuff like that, New Year's. So yeah, I just find it, at this point in the year, I've had a pretty solid year. I don't want to dig myself in a hole to start out 2026. And I think that's what I would say to the viewers as well right now is if you're looking now to dig yourself out of a hole, it's a lot more tough, especially in this market environment.
Yeah, I didn't think it would die this quick. You can see this was, I believe, Black Friday way back here, or Thanksgiving, and then Black Friday. Black Friday didn't do a whole lot of jazz either, and every day just seems to be, just up and down, right? It doesn't even seem to be moving since then. Market's been completely stagnant. They get the one spike to the downside, one spike to the upside. This was the only day that really had anything was yesterday, and if you missed the move, then you were done for the day, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Right on. We got the man in the house right now. We're just chatting about the NASDAQ right now. I think we can finish up kind of looking at other charts here too. We've got Bitcoin too, just taking
wow, look at that.
New highs. I'm a bit worried about, after such a terrible previous month, this is going to be difficult to get out of. Just because there's a wick on the downside here does not make up for the fact that this monthly candle was absolutely terrible. So you have a couple levels to get through this one, and this one.
What's gold doing? Gold also moving higher today.
I've got the prediction that we are going to make a new low here on the 70K, and gold. We have new high coming in, new highs. It's a bit surprising on gold there that we've had a few tests on this level already. For the fourth time, it's going to bounce off that level, which seems pretty odd to me. Usually levels tend to break down after a few tests because fewer orders are resting there. But interesting enough, they might come up for this actual level here.
Do you have any swings at the moment on anything?
Just the QQQ. I've got some Bitcoin. I've got some XRP. I've got some Master, crypto sort of stuff. Mostly, and of course, you would be a buffoon if you aren't playing the AI game right now with the Nasdaq, right?
Yeah.
Let's turn off the screen and get Giovanni introduced. Introduce yourself.
Hello. Well, my name is Giovanni. I speak a little funny because I'm from Italy, so
Awesome.
That's why I have an accent.
I've got some bad memories from Italy and getting hit by a garbage truck.
Oh wow! You're the first one that tells me that. But
it's a beautiful country.
Yeah, I'm glad you're still saying that. So you had a good impression of the country.
There's an old story about when Maven started. We went over to Italy, and I was dumb enough to speed on a Vespa and then hit a garbage truck.
Well, at least you didn't get a ticket.
Yeah,
a
couple broken bones instead.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe worse. But
at least I didn't have to get a ticket.
Actually, I have an American friend. He's in South Africa right now. He told me the Italian authorities just sent him a ticket because he was driving too fast on a Vespa. So, but yeah, my name is Giovanni. I'm originally from Italy. I'm currently in South Africa, but I lived for 6 years in the United States. So, but I don't have the American accent yet. I'm a mental performance coach, executive coach. I work with athletes. I work with entrepreneurs. Work with leaderships of company. And what I love to do is to help people learning how to perform better at what they already do. And so what I do is literally is to help people and just helping them to perform better in what they do and finding ways to help them in that process. And so, I've been working with professional baseball players, golfers, and leadership of companies, entrepreneurs. Been working with USA Triathlon, some athletes from the USA cycling teams. So all different sort of individuals, but still with the same goal, learning how to perform better.
Yeah. So you aren't specific to trading then?
Sorry?
You're not specific to trading?
Not specific to trading, but I work with a trader as well.
Yeah, he works with me.
Oh, yep. Unreal.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I hired Gio, when was it? Gio, like 7-8 months ago. And
March, maybe.
Yeah. And definitely helped me in terms of look at things from a different perspective. Balancing emotions when you take losses, things like that, getting your mind prepped to start the trading day. Because Hunter, from a trader as well, that, not every single day is going to be perfect. And sometimes you are going to battle and struggle, right?
Yeah, that's why I've switched more to a swing style trading style, because, waking up early, especially in the winter seasons, you notice that your brain is not as fast, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you have some sort of recommendation for that, Giovanni, and it's probably don't trade, and then the swing trading allows me to still trade if your brain is slow.
Joe, maybe also speak a little bit about to the viewers about how we've worked on a bit of like that mental prep to start the trading session, how that's been helping me.
Yeah, 100%. I want to give you an example of, think about when baseball players, for example, what do they do before they're about to hit? When they're at bat, what do they do?
Yeah.
They place their feet, right? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. They relax their shoulder. They prepare the grip, right? They bend their knees. They have a specific preparation for what they want to do, right? That's obviously it's a body setup. It's preparation for what they want to do, how they want to hit, right? And so, or even just think about whatever basketball team right before the game start, they are in the locker rooms, and the coaches, what do? They talk about tactics, how they want the team to start with the game, how they want them to literally be set up for the game, right? And so kind of the same thought about this, just a metaphor, but kind of the same thought about, okay, you want to trade, right? What's your mental posture on how you want to trade today? For example, if you haven't decided to be a calm trader, right? When things go up and down, and that happens often, I guess, in trading, right? When you look at your graphs, if you just react to that all the time, how you think you're going to perform well? It's like what you see is controlling you. And so the work that I do is to establish first, having a vision of how you want to be in the face of the graphs going up and down, in the face of, okay, I took a loss. Does that mean that things are going bad now? But see, if we have a vision of, okay, I want to be calm, my question would be, Hunter, for example, what would the calmest person in the world do in the face of taking a loss?
Yeah, I would I would visualize some sort of person drinking tea or matcha or something like that, listening to nice music and playing with his cat or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what the most calmest person.
Not getting hit by a garbage truck in Italy.
Yeah, it was a while.
But the point is, see, we have to understand first, instead of starting with the outcome, we have to decide who do we want to be in a situation. How do we want to show up as in a situation? Because that's going to determine what we're going to achieve, what we're going to get as a result.
Right?
Do
you do sort of visualization sort of strategies? Like, do you actually run through scenarios in your brain before trading?
Well, so I'll give you an example. There's a lot of things that can be done, whether it's trading or not, but obviously visualization is an example. But my main thing, I would do visualization not necessarily as you're trading, but before. If you know you're struggling with a specific scenario, I would ask you to visualize that scenario and taking specific actions that we would have talked about on how you would have showed up in that hard scenario, in the difficult scenarios where you've been before, and let's say you didn't behave as you would have liked. Maybe you felt out of control. You just reacted, right? And so visualization helps you to train your brain or prepare your brain to be able to do something that you haven't done before. Think about when dreams feel so real. Sometimes we just wake up, you're like, wow, that was surreal. And that's kind of the same thing with visualization. It's just when we can replay that in our mind, we can somewhat experiencing that. And so then when it comes to do it, it's easier. And so visualization help us to prepare our mind to be able to do something. Because many times, even when I work with athletes, golfers, for example, many times it's hard for them to visualize being able to make certain decisions or choices in hard situations. It's really hard with it. And you think of, they just have to imagine that in their mind. But that tells you a lot, that even just visualizing that, it's a hard thing to do. And so learning how to visualizing certain scenarios and how you want to show up as in the moment, that's a first step that will allow you then to actually do it when the time comes. So that can be very helpful. But again, it depends based on the individual if they might need to do that or not.
So walk us through how you would go about visualizing. Let's say I think pretty much everyone in the audience, they have more or less the same sort of question. They overtrade, their disciplines poor, or they're revenge trading, something like this, right?
Yeah.
How would you walk through a visualization strategy so that the viewers can calm themselves and not do that?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, I would ask them to start thinking about the scenarios that are very hard for them, where they, I don't want to say misbehave, but like the scenarios where it's very hard to deal with for them. And just pick 3 of them, for example. That's the first thing I would say. Then the second thing that is very important is to always visualize with a good outcome at the end. And so at least what we do when we start visualizing, we go through these difficult moments, okay? All of the 3 difficult moments that the person might deal with. But the main thing, even before that, is to decide what your anchor is. And what I mean is, for example, for you, if you give me a trait of a good that you like, a valuable trait that you like, maybe it's to be calm, maybe it's to be caring, maybe it's to be whatever trait, okay? That's your anchor. So what I mean by that is, now if that's your anchor, that's who you want to be, what would that caring trader, let's say, do when they have to go through their hard situation? So if you give me, for example, a very difficult moment for you when you're trading, a moment that maybe, I don't want to say gets you angry, but maybe it's difficult. It's easy for you to react, right? Mm-hmm. If you decide already who you want to be in the moment, you have something to anchor to. Okay, so you're like, okay, if that, when this happens, I can decide to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
I can decide to look at this situation this way. But see, that happens if we prepared that before. Yeah. So what happens if we have no idea of what's a valuable trait of how we want to show up in a situation, when something happens that we don't expect or we don't like, what happened? We react. We automatically react, right? When there's disappointment, what do we tend to do? We react as humans, right? That's the main thing that just everyone does. What I really work on is learning not to react, but how to respond to a situation. Reaction can be out of emotion, out of disappointment, right? Out of feelings. They can be temporary. But then what matters is I will respond to a situation. And so if we have the anchor, I have a vision to be the calmest trader in the world, let's say. What would the calmest trader in the world do, right? Yeah. But first of all, I would dig in with you and starting to understand what are the valuable words that really matter to you. What's the kind of person you'd like to show up as, even in your everyday life, right?
I think so. On that, so something that's Hunter, that Gio's helped me with is like after losses. Let's just say I'm in a trading session, and obviously it's going to happen to every trader. You take a loss, and sometimes you maybe too much size, or you shouldn't have taken the trade. And I used to get quite angry personally, like you, Hunter, breaking your screen. But I used to get quite angry, and as Gio said, want to react. But I think what's helped me in the last 7 months is I divulge it. Sometimes not always the best, but I'm getting better every single day, and actually end up making better decisions as the trading session goes on, and maybe sometimes end up making back that loss and some and end the day green again. So I think, from a mindset point of view, looking at how to react to different situations for me personally has helped me. Instead of getting angry and just messing up the whole rest of the day, I take a step back, I rethink, I refocus, and I get back and finish the session pretty, solidly. And I've been actually doing that pretty well over the last 3 months. Like I might take a loss on my first trade, but I still end the day, green or in the money.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting you say, because all these traders, right? Everyone watching, they want to be that disciplined trader.
Mhm.
And the question you're posing to them is, okay, so what does that trader do? It's not that they don't, have emotions. It's not that they don't, want to react. They have all the same exact emotions that the indisciplined trader has. But like, what does he do aside from the not clicking the button, right, until it's time, right? And create that persona, I suppose you're saying, is create a personality of yourself that does all of these other things. So it's a lot easier, I suppose, to not click the button, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a mental posture towards the situation. So if you already know what you want to be, it's easier to stay anchored to who you would like to show up as. But if you haven't decided that, whenever the situation comes, right, then you just react. And the easiest thing then, once we react, we always lose control. It's the fear, it's the disappointment that make us take the specific actions, decisions.
Yeah.
They usually are not good.
And I also just to why this has helped me so much as well, for the traders listening, is that like I think once you know how to trade and you got like your technicals, Hunter, you'll know like once you know how to trade, it's all in the mind basically. About you're going to take losses, is how you bounce back from them. And I think something that for me has helped is, if you want to be a winning trader, you can't get emotional to the losses because they're going to happen at some point. You're going to take a loss. You're not going to win 100% of your trades, though we'd like to. And I think it's in that moment that you got to decide, how does the unprofitable traders react? Well, they're going to, get angry, swear, try and revenge trade, overtrade. But the profitable traders long term are going to take a step back, reevaluate the situation. Hey, am I got the direction wrong on this trade? What do I need to do? Maybe I just need to be out the market, whatever it is. And it's how you react in that situation compared to, because in hindsight, everything looks easy. You should have done this, or you should have been buying instead of selling. But it's how you react in situations that separate the winners from the losers in this game.
And kind of to add something on top of that, a big thing that I work with James also, it's about perspective. And the first law of performance talks about that the way that we see a situation occurring to us determine the way that we operate in it, the way that we perform in that. So the way that we view a situation, that we see a situation occurring to us, determines how well we can perform in it, how well we can operate in that.
Interesting.
What I mean is, just to give you an example more practical, is that if you take a loss and you start seeing the loss as the end of the world, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get back, oh my gosh, like, it's just a cycle that can keep going. If you want to think about how bad things can be, it can be just endless, right? But what if we put the things into the perspective of, okay, I just took a loss. Even if I ask you now, the best traders in the world, have they ever taken losses? Do they still take losses once in a while? And they're still getting back to it?
Yeah. So the way that you frame the loss,
or even simply, but even simply the concept of, is taking a loss allow you to learn how to grow in those situations, how you deal with that situation. Because if you, let's say that you always win and once in a while you take a loss, and then that loss takes you down, and then you take many losses after that, and that's simply because you saw that loss as, oh my gosh, I'm doing very bad, now things are just gonna go downhill. That's how I'm seeing the situation, right? Then I keep taking losses, I react emotionally, keep taking losses, right? But if I put things into perspective, I'm like, I just took a loss, fine, this is part of my job. doesn't mean I'm going to do bad. Doesn't mean things have to go drastically downhill. I'm still the person that I am. I still have a wife that loves me. I still run in the morning and go to the gym.
Yeah,
I just took
a lot of other traits that make you
Yeah.
who you are. And
yeah, but exactly. But the point is, many people sometimes see that loss as the end. Like it feels like everything in the moment. And my point is, no, we don't need to see that loss as everything is going downhill, everything is going bad.
Right on. I'm reading the questions in chat, and none of these are relevant. And unfortunately, guys, like if these are your questions, nobody's getting an account. Giovanni is not a trader.
Yeah, I think they're just using the bots, bro. ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm trying to get some good questions here.
Yeah,
there might have been like one or two, but they slipped through the cracks. But anything trading related is not appropriate for today. It's performance based in the purpose of becoming a better trader.
Yeah.
I see a question: how does a trader build confidence that is based on process, not on winning? For example, I don't know. Is that a good question?
Yeah, sure. If you got a question that you think is useful for you to answer, fly by for me, and a lot of people spam. So
some guys are asking about sharp ratios and Sortino ratio.
Strategy questions for Giovanni, like I seen one about SMC. I'm like, I'm sure he doesn't know what that means at all.
No, which is probably a good thing. Yeah, let's cover that question, Joe.
Yeah, how does a trader build confidence that is based on process, not on winning? I think the first concept of confidence that we can talk about is thinking about what you've done before. Have you ever taken a loss and you're still able to get back? Yes. Well, that means you can do it again, simply. Sometimes to look back at what we were able to do in the past and not just focusing on what happened immediately in that moment. Because the more we learn how to deal with that moment, oh, yeah, that happened in the past. That's fine. Something just happened. It's part of what I do. It's part of the process of what I'm doing. That means that you're moving forward toward the next thing. And so you're already prepared for what's coming next, which can be winning a trade, for example. And so I think that's, if that makes sense, when it comes to building confidence, look back at things that you were able to do throughout your career as a trader, when you thought things were going bad and then you picked it up, when things didn't look good and you did a great trade after that.
I think also, just like that, like a lot of traders have bad habits, in the over trading after losses or trying to make it back. Good habits can also be formed. And this is what I've been working on with Giovanni, is that, in the moment when I used to get angry and that, now I'm starting to be a lot more calm in the moment, accept the loss for what it is, and try and move on as best as I can. I'm not always saying it's easy, but I think you can build good habits just as you can build bad habits. So if your natural reaction to losses is always trying to just get it back and just taking, shitty trades afterwards, you can build a good habit of being in the right mental frame and taking good trades afterwards as well.
Yeah. So James, why don't we get you to explain kind of what Giovanni's gotten you to do, so that, if people are looking for their own performance coach, maybe they can contact Giovanni, or they can contact somebody that they know, or they know what this looks like.
Yeah. So a big thing for me in my process was, first of all, having the right mental state, which we spoke about earlier, to be able to come into the trading day and be able to perform, right? Just like athletes, they warm up before they go and play, and they have their game plan, basically, of maybe for traders, it would be levels that we look to trade off. This is something that we worked on since our last call at the end of last month. But having like a game plan at the start of every single day. I think if you aren't having a plan for the day, what's that saying? You fail to plan, to plan, prepare to fail, basically.
Now, your plan, is it a profit-based plan, or is it an actionable, like what do
No,
you
actionable plan in terms of like where I would like to see markets. For example, if I'm trading the Nasdaq, these are the levels that I'm looking at. If price comes down here, this is where I would be looking for buys. If it comes up here, I'd be looking for sells. An actionable plan in terms of what levels am I looking at on the chart? Because obviously, as traders, we still have to have a trading plan. It's good to have the mental aspect, right, to be able to then execute on that plan. And if the plan, if price does something opposite to our plan, to be able to react correctly in the moment, which Gio's helped me with. But you have to have a plan, right, in terms of what you're looking for. Not trading from just because price is coming here, I'm just going to start buying or whatever it is, but actually having a plan and preparing my mind for the session. So we kind of have called it like the warm-up, if you want to call it that. We've kind of called it that. So like a warm-up for the session, right? This is what I'm looking at. And then after that, I get into the session, right? And I'm only trading New York session now. Hunter, you've known that. I used to trade a little bit in the London. We've stuck now only to New York. My stats are telling me that I should be only trading then. Also just from the mental aspect, not having to be on the desk all day. And then if the plan goes south, in terms of, okay, I was looking for longs, I took a trade, it went against me. I'm actually, because I have my plan in place, I'm a lot more better mentally stable. I'm not swearing at the desk or getting angry, emotional, because I have a plan that tells me this is, if I take a loss, I know what I need to do. I've got, okay, maybe I was wrong on my direction and I need to look for re-entry. So from that perspective, I think it kind of all starts from being more, serious in my trading. Because if you look at also like all the, I'm not saying you need to go write out a million words on your plan, but, just have a general plan for what you're going to do today. If you're working at a prop firm, in-house prop firm, if Maven had an in-house prop firm, you would want to, if you had traders that just came into the desk 5 minutes before the open and just started to trade like a cowboy and it's your money, I'm sure you'll be pretty pissed off, Hunter. You would want guys to take it a little bit more seriously and have a plan for each and every single day, at least 30 minutes to an hour before the session. So that's something that's definitely helped me,
Yeah, that's that's a big reason why, again, trading, day trading is not great for me being on the West Coast, because to wake up 30 minutes an hour beforehand, plan properly, be mentally aware, you're setting yourself up for failure there, because the plan is not being conducted properly.
Correct. Yeah. So maybe that's where you need to go into something like swing trading. That's maybe something where you'd have a conversation with Giovanni and find what works best for you, because everyone's going to be different. I mean, you having to wake up, what time's the open your time? Like 6:30 in the morning.
6:30 sun.
Yeah, that's early, bro. You see that it's 4:30 in the afternoon South African time. So it's a lot easier to have that morning off and then get to the desk and prep and plan beforehand. And then that kind of sets the tone for me for the day. And it has helped me a lot in terms of regulating my emotions when I do take losses, in terms of just being a lot more calm and composed. If you look at all the great, let's use Michael Jordan as an example. I think he's the greatest basketball player of all time. But if you look at him, when he has a bad game or something like that, or a bad half, he doesn't just give up and start. He comes back and he makes it right. So that plan has helped me to put that second bit into perspective in terms of, okay, I have my plan. I took a loss, but now I'm not getting emotional because I'm going back towards my plan and what I'm looking for. But if that plan's not in place, well, that's where you can go, you can start taking trades left, right, and center and start just taking losses all over the place.
Yeah, right on.
And I was thinking to add something on top of what he just said as well. Oftentimes, it's not like we just had a plan and kept that for the entire time, but we adjusted it based on how we wanted to grow. So oftentimes it's like, okay, we have a vision of who we want to be. Okay. So we start working on becoming that kind of person that we want to be. Okay. So now, what is an habit that we can do every time in the situation? And that's one thing we set up. What is something we want to experiment when we are in this situation as well? And so we often work with a few things like that. And then every 2 weeks or a month, we review that. Has that worked? Well, if that has worked perfect, we're going to keep that. We're going to make that an habit if it was something that we just wanted to experiment, for example. And then, okay, we want to improve from that. We want to keep growing. And then we find something else we want to experiment in that situation. But oftentimes, part of the plan for James is asking himself, if I want to be the most caring trader, or working trading trader, for example, how does it look like to show up as that trader right now? If I want to be that trader, how does it look like? And that it just allows him to get an answer from that question and set him up for what's coming next.
Awesome. Cool. And I don't have a whole lot more on my end, and I'm not really liking many of these questions. Do you want to ask more, James, or do you want to bring up anything more?
Yeah, let's just one more. I saw one good question was in there earlier. There's so many questions that are trading related, which is obviously this is more psychologically based. But there was one about, and maybe Hunter, you and I can maybe speak on this, about the need to be right in trading. How do you get over the fact that you need to be right in trading? Well, how I kind of do it is I see myself as trading. I'm trading to make money, not to be right. I don't care about calling levels or being, in at the low of the day or in at the high of the day. I'm just trading to make money. If I'm making money at the end of the day, that's all that really matters for me. And I think that once you start to see that in your trading, I think that shift changes mentally. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Ironically, I trade for the exact opposite reason. I don't trade for money at all. I trade because I like trading.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying there, though.
It's a weird thing. That's how it's the exact opposite, but it allows me to do the same thing.
Correct.
I don't care when I lose because it doesn't matter to me to lose money. I'm not trading with a significant amount of money that's going to make or break my life. A couple $100 here or there doesn't really matter to me, right? So I'm just doing it for the fun, right? And I don't know Giovanni's take on that, but if you completely disconnect yourself from the actual result.
Outcome. Yeah.
Look, I think that's a very important thing. One of the things I really like to do with all my clients, especially when it comes with people that deal with performance, which probably trading is one of that as well, trading or athletes, golfer, is that they often look at the outcome. That's what matters to them. And as they're trading or as they're racing, whatever it is, they focus so much on the final outcome. I'm like, no, we don't need to have big expectation on the outcome, but let's have expectation on how you want to be a trader, on how you want to be trading in this situation, because that's the thing that's going to allow you to have a great outcome. See, fear comes when we put so much expectation on the outcome, and then people have fear of failure, or if they are live, they have fear of looking bad, right? Fear of being wrong. Those are all things that come up to traders or performers generally, right? But if we put our expectations on how we want to be while we're doing what our job is, what our performing action is, let's say traders, right? If we create expectations on how you want to show up as a trader, how you want to be a trader, the vision that you have of how you want to be as a trader, then that's the thing that will allow you to be a great trader. And even if you have to take a loss one day, you're still going to be happy because you knew or you learned how to deal with the loss, and it doesn't affect you. And so you can get to bed and you're like, I took a loss. Doesn't even matter to. I'm not even thinking about the fact that I took a loss, because you loved the kind of trader you've been through the phase, through the process. That's the thing that gave you satisfaction, is the trader that you have been, not the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really insightful way to do it.
I do like what you said, though, Hunter, is that I also find when I trade, because I enjoy it, I find I do better as well. Not focusing on you're just trading because you don't put too much weight. I think a lot of traders, they put a lot of weight on the outcomes, as Gio was saying as well. And then that causes you to sometimes freeze up in the moment and make poor decisions in the actual moment. Whereas if you're trading because you're actually enjoying it, or with a bit more freedom of mind, you don't put as much pressure on in the moment. But I think these have been good points. Hopefully guys can rewatch this and take away a few notes from it.
I was thinking even with you, James, we worked on, first of all, who you wanted to be as an individual, right? And then what the individual would do, and then what you would get as a result, right? What the outcomes would be. But we didn't start from the outcome, because the outcome can be up and down, can variate, right? And if we put so much focus on that, again, it's not the thing that will allow us to necessarily do well or perform a certain way. I give the example often of someone that wants to lose weight. Think about the beginning of the year, how many people say, hey, I just want to lose weight. They start with the outcome. They go to the gym 3 times a week for maybe 2-3 weeks a month, and then they will stop. How many people do that with the new year resolutions, right?
Yeah.
And what's the problem? They've never decided who they wanted to be. That they want to be a healthy person, an active person. They started with the outcome. But think about, if I want to be someone who wants to wait, I'm going to be like, well, first of all, I want to be an active or healthy person, right? Which means, what would a person do? If I can go to the gym, I'm going to walk for one day for whatever time, right? I'm going to start getting things at the groceries that are different than other stuff, right?
I think a very similar thing from the book Atomic Habits, that there's multiple ways to kind of change who you are, different layers of it. The lowest layer was, I have a goal, it's to run a marathon, right? But I am not a runner, right? So the difference between those two outlooks is, I will train for the marathon, pass the marathon, and then stop running. But if I identify as a runner, I run every day, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's true,
exactly the point. That's exactly the point.
Yeah. Once you run the marathon, you're not going to be running anymore, because you did what you said you would.
Exactly. You hit the goal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, I think it's like a lot for the traders. They're like, I'm going to pass phase 1. And how many traders do you see slip on phase 2? Because they're like, I just want to pass phase 1. And then
they want the payout. I'm going to get a payout. They get the payout one time. They spent all their money to get there. Fail.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess on that, we can wrap it up. Giovanni, where can the audience find you?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Giovanni Bianco. People can find me there. I can even put my email in the chat. GiovanniB1995@gmail.com. So I can put my email as well in the chat. But I'm Giovanni Bianco on Instagram as well. I mostly use my email and Instagram, and I have a website as well. So,
Okay, thank you so much, Giovanni. This was awesome. A little bit different than our usual sort of programming, which is hopefully we got some good insights for the audience. Cool. Okay, guys. Every single Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, Giovanni. Ciao, ciao.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.